Love that
There we
guy.
go. We're live. We're live for episode
Welcome
5.
back, guys. Welcome back to the draft West Coast Draft Pod. Thanks. And as always, you got Beau, Gleason, myself, Rob Jokinen. Top of the show, hitting a shout out to my Uncle Russell. Thanks for being
Wilson.
a solid listener. You listened to like 2/3 of an episode.
Hey, there we go.
Respect. He was
Which one?
excited for the thing. He said he was laughing about the Thanksgiving stuff. Shout out to my Uncle Russell, coolest guy in the family. No
There
joke
you go,
about
man.
that. He's awesome.
There you go, man. Which episode was it? The NFC
Episode
West
one.
one?
Episode
Yeah, I was
one.
gonna say the NFC West one's probably gonna be popular in a family of Seahawks fans.
He
So.
did say YouTube format sucks and we should go to Spotify. So might look a way to get that audio over there for you.
We'll get the
Apple
audio
He said Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. No, there's ways to get audio over, so it's on the way, Uncle Russell. Let's just say that. But
We'll get it there for you.
Appreciate you listening in.
We appreciate our first listener, probably.
Yeah. First of many. First of many,
hopefully.
You know what's funny? It's gonna be that when we got a million followers and people are gonna listen back to these episodes and they're gonna laugh about this. So
we're gonna private them.
we're gonna private. Yeah,
no, I have no shame. No, it's staying on the internet forever.
I love it, man. Hey, that's right. And guess what? I have to talk a little bit here at the top of the show too. The Bengals played a preseason game tonight.
Tell us how you feel about it.
I was only able to watch the second half because I was at the gym for the first half and I thought it was recorded and it wasn't. So I'm gonna have to watch the live replay on NFL Network whenever that does happen. But
you're in the same situation as I was for the first half. I was the same.
Mm-hmm. Second half, Jake Browning started. Did not look good. And you know what? And honestly, I mean, there were flashes, but there were also times where he very much looked like senior year Jake Browning, where it's just noodle arm. You're watching him throw, and it's like, who are you throwing to? He also wasn't getting a ton of help from, again, Cincinnati's backup offensive line. But you know, there's some good drives in there that they were able to chain together. Finish with 10 points in the second half compared to only 3 in the first half, which yay. But when you're working with backup skill guys and a backup O-line, what do you expect? Then again, you're going against a backup defense. So point being, hopefully Jake Browning never has to start a game. I think that's the thesis of, or moral of the story of any Bengals take from the entire preseason. There were some nice pieces though. Defense, first team defense. Actually, I had a chance to go back and watch. They did play for the first drive. Got actually ran all over by Bijan Robinson, which was not great to see. However, forced a red zone turnover, interception in the red zone, which, you know, bend but don't break, and that's kind of been their mantra for a long time now. In fact, they didn't give up a second half touchdown in the hold on. They didn't give up a touchdown in the second half of any game last year until game 8, which was pretty good. It was a nice stretch, and then the Browns broke it, and then they still had nice stretches after that too. So they've always kind of been the bend but don't break. They haven't really ever been a shutdown defense. That's why if you look at like yardage and points per game, or not points per game, but yardage stats, they're never going to be very close to the top. But they win games, and they usually come up clutch when the time comes. So, you know, as far as a first series for the one defense for the whole calendar year, I guess if you exclude playoffs, we'll say NFL calendar year. How about that? First series of the season for the ones. Bended. Yeah, bended. That's a word. But didn't break. And that's what matters.
I think it would be bent.
You're very right. Is bent. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Dictionary. But yes,
I'm a graduate.
Bent but didn't break. That's what matters.
You know, something you did say. You said Jake Browning didn't look good. Jake Browning hasn't looked good since October 2016.
Man. Okay, actually, I will say the last offensive series that the Bengals had where they scored the touchdown, actually the only touchdown they got all day, he actually looked pretty sharp out there. He was navigating the pocket. I think there was 4 or 5 straight plays that led to first downs.
Mhm.
Was hitting guys. He was distributing the ball really well. He had passes to Charlie Jones, Andre Yoshivas, we're just
2 of
calling
our
him
favorites right
Yoshi.
there. 2 of our favorites.
Chase Brown actually was the one who punched the ball in. And even Jake himself had a nice little run for a 13-yard gain. So
He's got to be almost 30 now, huh?
he's on the old, let's see. He was probably about 22 in 2019 when he was in the draft.
Okay, then I'm way off then.
Probably late,
I'm
mid
really
to late
shitting on
20s.
Jake. I love Jake Browning. I defended Jake Browning when no one was his senior year. I love Jake Browning, but it's funny to make jokes about him.
Yeah, he had his
He'd probably admit he hasn't been the same since that shoulder injury.
I don't know. I think anyone who's followed his career would say that.
He had a great arm until that. Yeah, shoulder injuries on a throwing shoulder, just the worse than a leg injury, honestly.
Yeah. Fun fact though, he was actually in the same graduating class as the man now starting above him, Joe Burrow, and he was rated higher. Jake Browning was a 5-star coming out of high school. Joe Burrow was only a 3-star. So
Browning was not a 5-star. He was a 4-star.
It was at one point. It was at one point a 5-star. Okay. I would know. He was my high school team. So
to be fair, other than one season, I think Jake Browning showed quite a bit more in his college years. Is that fair?
But he never had the.
Joe Burrow was a late bloomer. Joe Burrow was a very late bloomer. How about that?
But how about
and that's
how
good.
their
That's
NFL
okay.
careers
That's
going?
okay.
How their NFL careers going?
And that's okay. Yeah, we're talking college. I was saying college.
Fair enough.
But to be fair, Joe Burrow did have the probably best ever season of college football. On the best, you could probably say best team ever.
Oh yeah, probably best ever like single season team ever from like a pure just like talent they had standpoint. But
I heard an interesting argument the other day was that someone said if the CFP system existed in the 2000s, Pete Carroll would have like 5 natties, and I think that's honestly a pretty fair argument. Just remembering how those teams were built. Very good defense, very good running game, and a really good quarterback.
It's funny to even think back to a time where a Pac-12 team could hang with SEC schools and Big Ten schools consistently.
When it was USC. USC is the only team right now that can ever hang with an SEC team just because of the line. It's like the formula for success right now is getting those blue chip D line guys.
That was back when the Big 12 was still great too. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, but still, I mean, there's some fun years. Kansas
it's before
had
the
some
Big
fun
12.
years.
It's before the Big 12 became what we know of the Big 12 of the and we talked about this just like last episode or 2 episodes.
That was when Texas was still a powerhouse, which hasn't been the case for 15
Texas
years.
is not back and won't be back ever.
13 years.
Texas will be back when. Honestly, I think they could win the Big 12 this year. I think
they probably will. Honestly, I think they probably will.
They got a pretty clear shot right now because K-State lost some dudes. Iowa State's
TCU lost their whole roster practically.
Everybody. You know who's in their way? I think you could say Kansas with Leopold and that same quarterback back, but it's Kansas, so I'm gonna believe it when I see it. Dave Aranda's good, but last year was a bit of a letdown. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, I can't really see much in the way of Texas this year. So the Texas is back memes will be abundant.
Oh man.
I heard
maybe the Oklahoma
Arch is looking good, but Ewers got some talent.
Yeah.
I don't trust Venables as a head coach. Venables is in that we got to come up with a name for that group of the great coordinators, bad head coaches. Better than just good coordinators. We got to come up with a name for that. He's one of those because everyone thought he was going to be a lifer with Dabo and Dabo, and he wasn't.
That is true. That is very true.
Speaking of college football conferences, though, I do have some exciting news.
Yes,
we will be doing a man on the ground week on Twitter at West Coast Draft. I will be in 2 Big Ten territory cities next week. I will be in Washington, D.C. and New York, 2 Big Ten markets.
Oh, yeah. Maryland and Rutgers.
Maryland and Rutgers. Woo!
Oh, man. Also somewhat
Big
ACC,
Ten
too.
Nation. Big Ten Nation.
I feel like D.C. is like half Maryland,
That's Big
half
Ten
Virginia.
Nation. That's
So
Big Ten Nation. No, that is Maryland territory.
all right.
Where
Fair.
is
Rutgers? I'll give
Virginia?
you.
Where's the University of Virginia?
Actually, it's a good question. Maybe Virginia Tech's closer. I don't know.
I
Well,
think
I don't.
Virginia Tech is probably closer. But
Let's
that's
see.
DC's Big Ten territory, baby.
Washington
And
D.C. to
we're technically not
Charlottesville.
in Big Ten territory, right? This year. Give it a year though. Give it a year.
Technically,
And
I'm in
like
Big 12 territory. Well, in a year I will be.
you're in Pac-12. You know, since I go to the UP so much, Upper Michigan, I've been in Big Ten territory all the time.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Wait, Blacksburg. Yeah, no, Charlottesville's closer than Blacksburg is. Charlottesville's like 2 hours away.
Big Ten territory.
Hold on. Wait, what city is
Baltimore.
University of Maryland in? Is it
College
in Baltimore?
College Park.
Huh.
But it's
And that
basically
is
Baltimore.
that's across the streets, 30 minutes.
Big
away.
Ten territory.
You're right. That's Big Ten territory right there.
Man on
Well,
the street,
credit.
check it out. At West Coast Draft.
There
Family
you go.
members do not check my Twitter.
No, do, and then ground him.
It's not even bad. It's a lot of stupidity, trolling, hot
Mhm.
takes. My Gleason.
Any Detroit Pistons fans follow
That
Rob
was
and
complete
report
trolling
him.
for
Report
no
him.
reason. I don't know why I felt like doing that. That was just complete trolling for no reason. And it didn't even get any bites, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I should have put a hashtag. The Gleason tweet, though, that was a coined phrase here last episode.
Mhm.
Gleason
That's
got
true.
a little traction.
That's true. Well, hey man, next time you say the Packers should relocate, definitely throw it up on Twitter. It'll be about the same level of
Speaking of Packers, though, let's spin the wheel and see.
That's right. We're due. Are you sticking with your NFC North
I'm
prediction
sticking
after
with
it failed
it.
you
I'm
last
sticking
time?
with it. I
hope
believe
so, man. I'm looking at the schedule here, and it's like if we get AFC West, like we're almost halfway done with those games anyway. Same with the NFC East. NFC North or South would be, fun episodes. So.
I want NFC South would be a fun episode.
NFC South, I feel like we're gonna have some debates.
Oh
So,
yes.
Here we go.
Saint
What are we
Freedom.
gonna get? What are we gonna get? It is an NFC. It is the NFC North. Wait, it is the NFC North. Yes. Oh boy, this is
I was off one
fun
episode,
one.
but I was pretty close.
This is a fun one, honestly. I'm excited to talk about this one with you because I think
really
we're gonna have some
excited.
disagreements here.
Oh yeah.
And I think those disagreements are going to start with the very first team here, the Chicago Bears.
I
You
think
want to talk about the Bears for a second?
That's a new quarterback against the
That's a new quarterback.
And they won week 1 last year. Did they win week 1 in 21? I doubt it.
No, that was a Sunday night game. They went
That
to
was
the
Rams
and
game.
got destroyed.
And they got stomped.
Yeah.
I watched that on the flight back after UW got stomped at the Big House.
Yeah. Hey, but just fun fact about that 2021 Chicago Bears team. They played week 1 against the Rams and week 2 against the Bengals. So they played back-to-back weeks against both teams that went on to play in the Super Bowl. So, and they lost the one that won and beat the one that lost. And I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I'm going to make myself
lost to
sad.
the Bears that year?
It was a weird year, man. That was when Joe was still coming back from the ACL tear. It was rough.
Yeah.
We did lose the Bears that year, which was really bad in hindsight, considering we beat the Chiefs twice later in that season. NFL's weird, man. But anyways, yeah, I think. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, I think the Bears can pull this one out. Yes, the Packers seem to own the Bears, but was that an Aaron Rodgers thing or was that a Packers thing? I think it was more of an Aaron Rodgers thing, to be quite honest with you.
Rookie, first-time quarterbacks, first-time starters. I think Jordan Love has started games.
A couple here and there.
I don't think he's very good either, though. It's not
We'll
even
see,
that he's
man.
a first-time starter.
I think
was
Love will get better.
Back in 19, was it?
2020, yeah.
I was a truther.
Yeah.
I don't think he's very good.
I think he'll probably get better as the season goes on, but they haven't really built around. I mean, they've got a couple nice young receivers there, and Christian Watts. We probably shouldn't talk about the Packers too much when we're going to talk about them here shortly, anyways. But yeah.
Speaking of nice young receivers, though, Bears loaded up a little bit.
They
And his
did.
name is Chase Claypool.
Hell yeah, dude. PFF Chicago Bears off season. Let's go. Because we almost forgot. And they actually have an article, which is
We
nice.
jumped right in.
We did. We just
Actually,
jumped
those were
right into
some
the
pickups.
schedule.
I'm not gonna lie.
They
Those were
had a
some good
solid
pickups.
offseason, honestly. I think Tremaine, I mean, again, I know you have comments to make about off-ball linebackers, but I mean, as far as Tremaine Edwards, TJ Edwards, like it's a solid combo, solid duo, the kind of be the captains of the defense
Not
there.
something I'd invest money in, but if Eberflus believes that he needs good linebackers, I'd trust him.
Yeah. Nate Davis, solid guard, honestly. I'm surprised the Titans let him hit free agency. Probably never gonna be like a Pro Bowl or anything like that, but he's a solid addition there. I liked him out of Charlotte coming out in 2019. Former Seahawk, Rasheem Green, of course.
Never lived up to his athletic potential, but
He did not.
hey, it's a 4-3 defense, perfect for it. He can reduce inside.
Mm-hmm. Deontay Foreman, fun running back, he made some plays with was he with Carolina last year? See with Carolina last year?
Yeah, he was good on fantasy too.
Yeah, he was. No, he was fun. We'll see what he does in a little bit more of an expanded role. Although, will it be expanded because of my guy Roshan Johnson, which we'll talk about when we
My
get to
guy
the
as
draft.
well. I'm a big Roshan guy too.
DeMarcus Walker, kind of an underrated pickup. I mean, honestly, he's probably going to be manning the quote unquote edge for Chicago here, but I mean, they run like a true 3-4, so it's kind of interesting situation they got. But hey, Walker's a good player for sure.
They run even.
They run even?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Eberflus was Cowboys when they ran even. And then DeForest Buckner was playing really good at 3-tech.
I just when they ran odd front last year.
Maybe last year. I watched last year, but I always thought Eberflus was even front guy. Because only defensive coordinators that have good jobs are even front guys right now. D'Amico Ryans, Robert Saleh. Even's back,
True.
baby. Right
Yeah,
when the Seahawks switched to odd.
Bob Tunyon stolen from the rival Packers, just like they're gonna steal a win in week 1. And Andrew Billings. Okay. Lost David Montgomery. That one's, that's tough. David Montgomery's a good player. Plus, he went to a division rival. But at the same time, it's a running back. I wouldn't give running backs unless they're elite a second contract anyway. So I'm not really tripping about losing David Montgomery. Although I think he'll be a good player in Detroit, which again we'll talk to. A lot of interdivision free agency acquisitions here, so that'll be fun to talk about.
The NFC North is weird. They're all so rattled of each other. They gave Robert Tonyan a contract who hasn't really been good other than was it 20 or 21.
I think it was
a pretty solid year.
I think it was 20.
It's literally like PTSD of the Packers being so good for the last 30 years.
And then lost to Nicholas Morrow, which again, when you get Tremaine Edmonds, I'm not too worried about
they
Nicholas
upgraded
Morrow.
there.
Solid draft though. Really like their draft.
I know,
actually.
right? Great player.
Mm-hmm. 10 was a little rich, but I think, I'm not complaining about the player at all, though. I think he's going to be a plug and play right tackle, and they need O-line help desperately. So what
tackle was there to take over him there at that point, though?
Broderick Jones was still available.
Honestly, with how
Skaronski's on tackle, but he was there still.
Darnell Wright played against Will Anderson is probably, hit it for people.
Yeah.
That's just that game tape is just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Zach Pickens. He's going to be a good one tech for him.
I like all these guys they got from 53 to 64. Honestly, there's some solid players they picked up here. Stevenson, I like his athletic profile. And then, like you just said, Roshan Johnson. He's going to be he might be a starter by the end of the year. Or at least getting starting snaps. Obviously,
he's my league winner this year. He's my league winner.
He's your league winner. You're not going to be winning the league, so don't worry too much about that. But
you're doubting AR-15, baby.
I am as a rookie. I am, and you should be too.
He's not. For me.
No
Sewell, Dan Lanning ruined him, but he's a good, athletic guy. We'll see how he fits. That's definitely different than the more of the other two linebackers they picked.
Yeah.
Does Noah honestly? You should put Noah Sewell at edge. Honestly, at this point,
yeah, man. Yeah, I mean,
there's
good
no
off
more
season.
thumper. This is a thumping Mike little middle linebacker exist anymore. That's big, 6'2", 6'3".
Uh,
No, no.
it
Where
died with
where is he?
Fontes Perfect. It died with Fontes
It
Perfect.
it died with a lot of dudes. It died with that Patriots guy, not Hightower, but the guy before him. Bobby was kind of that mold. Yeah, no, that you know where those players are? They're either tight ends or defensive ends now.
Yeah, that's good. Now
that's
you
that's
need
the
your
same thing I say about fullbacks. Fullbacks didn't die; they just became tight ends.
your Mike backers need to be able to run and cover nowadays. So
Who else? There's some dudes I can think of, but just
I'm
don't
sure
come to
I'm
mind.
sure if you look historically, there's a number of them. Brian
Oh, there's
Urlacher
a
while we're
million of
talking
them.
about the Bears.
There's a
So
million of them. I'm just trying to think of ones in the last 5 years. Luke Kuechly doesn't count though, because he could cover.
no, Luke Kuechly could cover. Shoot, Luke Kuechly was covering Julio Jones 30 yards downfield when the Falcons were playing the Panthers. So
Yeah.
um
That Panthers 15-1 team is the worst 15-1 team ever. That was not
I
a
made it
good
to the
team.
Super Bowl, man. I made it to the Super
I
Bowl.
that receiver core,
That
their
receiver
best
room was
receiver
horrible.
was like either Philly Brown or what's his name? The return Ted Ginn. That was
Yeah, it
bad.
was Ted Ginn, I think. Yeah, it was Ted Ginn.
Or Philly Brown. That was a really bad
Gosh, I
receiver.
forgot about Philly Brown.
It was their wait, no. Here's who their best receiver was. It was Greg Olsen.
Yeah, it was Greg Olsen, realistically speaking. Hold on, I want to look up. We're gonna go on so many tangents on this episode. I can already tell.
We
The
haven't
2015
we haven't
Carolina
oh
Panthers
gosh.
roster. Here we go. I'll look at the receiver room. I'm just gonna read off these names
Kelvin
and see how many of
Benjamin,
them I
man.
remember. Brenton
Kelvin Benjamin.
Burson.
Nope.
Kelvin Benjamin was on the IR for this entire season, so he wasn't
Wow.
in. Brenton Burson, Corey Brown, which Philly Brown.
That's Philly Brown.
Jeez, I forgot about him entirely. That's crazy. Jericho Cotchery, there you go. There's a name.
Oh gosh.
Devin Funchess. Is he still in the league?
God,
no, he's
he's
retired
long
now.
gone.
He's retired.
He's long gone.
Ted Ginn and Kevin Norwood.
Oh, Seahawk.
There's a Seahawk right there. Yeah,
He's one of the
Seahawks.
Seahawks. He's one of the Seahawk cursive fourth round receivers.
Yeah,
Every fourth round Seahawk receiver has been horrible or didn't even make the team. Gary Jennings didn't even make the team, and he was a good receiver in college, but he got drafted in the fourth round by the Seahawks, so he's doomed.
Yeah, I mean they had Greg Olsen to be wide receiver one, so that's ultimately who was
their lead running back? Without looking, who's their best running back?
Well, I already looked. I got the roster in front of me. I was looking at it. Can you guess who their best running back was?
Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah, it was Jonathan Stewart for sure,
and not even a really good one either.
They probably got some solid snaps out of Fozzie Whitaker though.
That's a great old name right there. He was basically a fullback, and they also had what's his name, Williams or whatever. Darnell, like
D'Angelo Williams. No, he was
D'Angelo
with the Steelers. He was at the Steelers at this
Ah,
point.
Is that when he was smoking weed with Le'Veon?
No, that was LeGarrette Blount. Which,
No.
by the way, hilarious name to go with it.
No, that was D'Angelo Williams.
Was it? I know LeGarrette Blount literally got kicked off the Steelers for those sorts of issues. So there you
I
go.
might be wrong about that one though. That defense wasn't that good. It was
that defense was good.
Actually, that defense was
really
really good. That was a good defense because you had Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Kawan Short. It was insane that season.
And rookie Shaq
Starla
Thompson.
Talele. Huh? Shaq Thompson.
Rookie Shaq Thompson.
Josh
Norman. Yeah, Josh Norman when he was at the height of his powers.
Was Eric Reed a Panther then?
No.
Who's their safeties?
Their safeties. Let's see. I'll just list their safeties because it doesn't say the starters were. Trey Boston. Okay, he actually had a solid career. Trey Boston.
Charles Tillman. Charles Tillman was a Panther that year.
He was, but he was on IR.
He played. I remember.
That's true. He was on the roster. Let's see. So their starters towards the Kurt Coleman, Roman Harper. Wow, really old Roman Harper.
Yeah. Jeez.
a rookie Dean Marlowe who's still kicking around the league. I believe he's in Buffalo now. Yeah, second stint with the Bills, I believe. And that's it for the safeties. Quite a few corners though. Josh Norman
All right.
again, Pro Bowl,
We gotta
probably the
get
best
we
corner
gotta
in the
get
league that year.
focused here.
Yeah,
We
let's
really
start.
gotta-
Let's talk about the Bears here.
We really gotta call this a sidetrack podcast.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about
Sidetrack
Chicago.
sports kind of has a nice ring to it.
It kind of does actually. Sidetrack sports.
All
Chicago
right.
Bears.
I think
we got
that's
the
an
win
L
week
week
one.
too. It's in Tampa
Really?
in September.
Yeah, going
It's
down to Tampa in September. That's gonna be tough. I agree.
L against the Chiefs.
L against the Chiefs. Yeah, I agree.
L against
Home
the Broncos.
against the Broncos.
L.
Yeah, probably, but I think
give
this
them
is
a
one they
win
could
against.
pull.
I give them a win against. The
I think, yeah, I
Cowboys,
think
though.
they go into the commies and they beat them. Think long break. I think they beat the Vikings at home.
At home, I think they beat the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree. They lose to the Chargers.
Mhm.
How is this game on Sunday Night Football?
Flex it out, please.
That's gonna be an easy flex, but yeah.
I got Saints here.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bears are still too young of a team to really
I
trust.
got Bears on Panthers.
Bears at home on Thursday night. Yeah, I like that.
in November. Ugh.
Is this no, this is wow, Bears Lions isn't the Thanksgiving morning game for once.
Yeah, the
That's
Thanksgiving
kinda
morning game is
surprised.
Packers.
Is it the Packers?
Yeah,
I think
my
you're right
dad's
there.
conspiracy theory of the NFL scheduling their hardest game on Thanksgiving to get rid of the Lions Thanksgiving game is not happening this year. Last year's the Bills. I remember he was super pissed when the schedule came out and he saw it was the Bills. Like, oh my god, horrible. I give the Lions the win here.
I agree.
And I think they split. I think they split the Vikings.
I agree. Get the bye before their next game against the Lions.
That's probably
here.
a win, huh?
I think so. And look at that. We got a little 3-game win streak here. Before they take on the Falcons.
That's tough.
One. That's a tough one. I think
What do
in
you think about
Chicago,
quarterbacks?
I think quarterbacks and
Okay, here's what I think. Here's what I think. Okay.
Mhm.
Quarterback's not going to be an issue because both teams are going to be running the hell out of it because it's Chicago in January. So I'm thinking about the team that has a very good running core and a really good O line, and it makes me think Falcons.
You talked me into it. I won't lie. That's good reasoning there. And I think
Now, okay, let's look at
split
their
the
record.
Packers
Let's look at their record.
8-8.
That might be if that could be a playoff in.
It
against the
could be,
Packers.
but
Get
the
that
Packers
monkey off their back. We'll see.
I think at this point in the
it's
season,
at Lambeau.
it's at Lambeau. I think Jordan Love's going to be playing, and I also think they're probably playing for a playoff spot too. I'm leaning Green Bay on this one.
Okay, I'll give it to you. A split.
Season split there. So they finished 8-9 from the worst team in the NFL last year to 8-9.
I could see it happening. I think that's a bit high for them.
Man.
But I think there's a lot of reasoning that I've liked behind our picks.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they
think
have a
the
tough
only one I'd
schedule.
switch might be Minnesota. I think
One
I
of the
can see
Minnesota
Minnesota
games.
sweeping. I think they
Maybe.
did get better in the offseason.
The Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that when we get to the Vikings. They'll be the last team we cover because they won their division last year.
Oh, that's right. The old. I love that dance. That's one of my favorite dance moves right now. That's one of my go-tos right now. Is the Kirko chains.
Kirko chain, yeah.
I saw myself being represented like people say.
I love that.
That was me.
I love
there.
that.
We're
yeah,
really down
I
on
mean-
the commies. Jeez.
Yeah, we'll talk
For
about the
for
commies.
good reason. That is a bad team.
Playing in an amazing division. We're down on the Giants too. If you look at 2-6, but
I think the Giants have a tough schedule.
They do. They really do. Awesome. Any last
Right.
words on the Chicago Bears? Are we moving on to the Green Bay Packers?
They're ready to take a step forward.
I think so too. I think this is. I don't know if they end up being a playoff team, although 8-9 in the NFC might end up getting it. But we'll talk about that. We'll see how things land.
I don't think it
Also,
will.
they changed their primary logo to the bear head, and I kind of think it's cool.
I
wish
like
the Bengals would do the
C.
same.
It's classic. I don't.
No,
like
the
that.
C is classic, and the C is still on the helmets, but I kind of like the bear head. It's a little
What do you think
different.
about the vote going on for the Browns field between the new logo and Brownie the Elf?
Well,
I
I did
support
vote.
the Elf baby.
I
Vote for
voted.
Brownie.
I voted for the blank field because that's how many wins they're gonna have this season. Oh, just kidding. We already have them with
We're
7.
a Brownie the Elf supporters at this podcast.
I'm I can't say what I was gonna say.
We're a
Let's
Sonny
just
Weaver
say
Jr. supporter.
that is very true. That is the only Cleveland Brown I'll support is Sonny Weaver
What
Jr.
about Vontae Mack?
Of course, I'm supporting Vontae Mack. Okay, I don't think of him as a Cleveland Brown. I think of him as an Ohio State Buckeye. How about that?
Okay.
But awesome. We'll move on here to the Green Bay Packers, the Bears' biggest rival. And a
That's crazy. They
team.
finished third.
A
I
lot.
swear, I will be so mad if they get a third first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback in a row. Long snapper, they're in for a rough season.
You think you'd be mad? Imagine how Bears fans would be feeling. But I
It's
guess
time
we'll
to tear
see.
it down. They're in for a long season.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. I think I'm probably a little bit higher on Jordan Love than you are.
I
Because
don't
I
know the
think he
stuff
has
we've
shown
seen so
some
far.
flashes. I think he played in most of the game against Philly last year, and granted, Philly was kind of a gas or a foot off the gas at that point, but I did like what I saw out of him in that game. I
I
didn't
like what I
see,
saw from him at Utah State, but
yeah,
all the reports I've heard is just not not super,
yeah.
game
Um,
manager, and that's not a team that can succeed right now with the game manager, especially after all they lost. It's time to tear it down. It's time to rebuild. You should trade. How am I blank on his name right now? Linebacker, outside line, edge rusher. From
Rashawn
Michigan,
Gary
Rashawn Gary. Time to trade Rashawn Gary.
is due for a contract here soon, so
Mm-hmm.
might be coming up.
Shout out to all
Seriously.
my Packer fan Upers, my family out there. This could be a rough one for you. I see those stories. It's gonna be a rough one, okay? It's time to start being fans of the Lions again.
No, yep. Rashawn Gary is going to be a free agent next offseason. Wow, if he's allowed to hit the market, he's going to be a big signing for some team.
There's no way they'll franchise him. They'll have the space.
No, that's true. That's true. They will. They definitely will.
That's a lot of losses, but a lot of those are some older guys like Cobb.
Yeah, like I'm not tripping
Mercedes
about
Lewis still being in the league is incredible. But Ben, who's not in the league anymore for now.
I mean, it's funny thing is like
until a tight end gets hurt.
I'm not too worried about any of these losses. Like, I mean, they're starters. Lazard was a starter. Amos was a starter. Reed, I believe, was a starter. Lowry
Those
was
are
a
all
starter.
starters.
Cobb, Tanyan, starters. There's one name here. Seems like a little bit of an oversight. His name is Aaron Rodgers.
No. Oh.
That's probably the
it
loss
just goes
that's
without
define
saying.
the Packers
All of us
season.
know about it. All of us know about it.
That's gonna be the loss that ultimately defines the Packers season. And I don't necessarily I don't think it was the wrong move to move on from him at this point. In fact,
well, he wanted out too.
He wanted out, so it's like it's not much you can do.
It was time to move on. Just like Seahawks and Russ, and hey, something good can happen.
Yeah.
And worst case, you get a high pick and you can really start that rebuild.
Yeah. Looking at their draft,
some of them, some good picks and some that don't make sense. Tucker Kraft, after spending a high pick on Musgrave, was weird. If you wanted Kraft, just don't take Musgrave because he gets hurt all the time. And then Jaden Reed at 50 was very rich.
I don't know. I kind of like Jaden Reed, and I've heard really good things out of him.
I have to.
Packers camp. I think that one could end up not being a steal, but like I think that one could end up aging very well.
Also, another kicker with the last name of Carlson coming out of college is very in the NFC North is very.
I'm pretty sure
scary.
that's his. No, I'm pretty sure that's his brother.
I know it is
because he's from Auburn too. Yeah, so so kind of funny there. But hey, look at that.
His name's Anders. Of course, he's his brother.
What was Dan?
Huh?
What's the connection between Daniel and Anders?
He's Swedish. No non-Swede's gonna have a name Anders.
Fair enough. Lucas Van Ness.
A little higher than expected, but
I liked him.
Never started in college.
Never started in college, but hey, before you know it, he might be starting in Green Bay. We shall
He's
see.
got some fun measurables. That is for sure. His combine was very fun.
I like Carrington Valentine in the 7th. That's a
Remember,
steal,
it
in my
was
opinion.
Anthony Johnson and Grant Dubose were
Yeah.
on some
And
other
I
teams
kind of,
draft.
yeah, they know this is the Browns. I remember that episode. They PFF made me look like a fool, but I like both these guys coming out too. So honestly, like
Solid draft, and Packers
three
know
of
how to
their four
draft.
7th-round picks, I kind of liked, honestly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Packers know how to draft. Sean Clifford at round 5, solid backup. See, this is how you build teams. This is how. See, this is one thing I just, and Packers have done this forever, and this is something that I always just really was annoyed that Seahawks never did. Even though John Schneider came for the Packers, you take a quarterback every year and you develop him and you trade him high, and if he's really good, he becomes your starter. Sean Clifford was a really solid guy. That's a smart team building strategy. Smart, sustainable team building. That is Packers drafting.
and he's gonna be a cheap backup, which you can't get enough of these days. But
Speaking
yeah,
of cheap
looking at this,
backups, DTR going off again. Oh, that one's going to be one of the ones that got away from me, man.
yeah, there you go.
I don't care what the fuck, what's his name? Brett Coleman's been saying about DTR. I was the DTR head before he was. I was a DTR head for a very long time. I was a DTR head last draft, and I said he'd
It's
be one
true,
of the
you were. I
top
remember
quarterbacks
that.
taken. I've been a DTR head for a long time, and man, that one hurts. That one really hurts for me. I'd give up Anthony Bradford for DTR.
Yeah, yeah, but you never will be able to. Maybe the Browns will offer a
Trade
trade
for
one
him.
day.
Kellen Mond's a great backup. They should let us trade for DTR.
What a bust he's been.
Man, I was a big Kellen Mond head too.
I know that
I'll
is
accept
not
that
aged
one.
well.
I've had my swings. I've had my misses.
That
I'll
one
be
is not
very
aged
loud
well.
about my hits. And I'll be very quiet about my misses.
Looking at the Packers schedule here, though, we got a fun one here in week 2, right out the
That
gate.
is.
In Atlanta. Let's see.
It's going to be 2 bad quarterbacks playing. So I got to
Yeah.
look at the rest of the team. And that is similar to the argument I gave earlier. You know who runs the Packers defense?
Who's that?
Disciple of Brandon Staley. You know what he's not good against? The run.
You are right about that. You are right about that.
I do think the Packers defense is better though.
In Atlanta.
That's a coin flip for me, honestly.
I'm probably gonna go Falcons here.
Saints come into town. I give that to the Packers.
Falcons quietly getting to 4-4. Yeah, I agree. Packers over the Saints there. Got a Thursday nighter. In fact, are both because of the Packers at Lions being on Thanksgiving. Both Packers Lions game will be on Thursday. The Lions
sweep. They got the momentum right now against them.
I think they do. I think they got the sweep last year, and I think last year's Packers team was better than this year's. So
and this year's Lions team's better than last year's.
Yeah, I think they could probably pull it off. Yeah, let's go Lions sweep.
Giants over Raiders. I don't think.
Actually, let's see where the momentum's carrying the Packers when we get to week 12. But yeah, we'll go Packers. What do you say over the Raiders?
Yeah,
especially the mini bye week going into Denver. They're coming off a bye. Denver's coming off a mini bye, which that's got to be tough. You finally play a team coming off your bye, and they kind of got a mini bye too.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough luck. And it's away.
It's at Denver. It's
a primetime game.
Denver.
This is primetime. No, it's afternoon. We'll give it to Denver.
I agree with that. I give this to. Ooh, what?
I'm probably giving this to Green Bay because, even with how good the Vikings were last year, Green Bay beat them by 35 points last year when the game was in Wisconsin.
True. I think the Lions are about to lose 4 straight.
Yeah, coming up here. I don't know. I mean, late November against the Chargers, this feels like the type of game the Chargers
Ooh,
would probably
that's
lose.
true. I'll see
Um,
that. I'll see that. But
After that, I
then
think you're right
I
though.
think they lose the next
Lions,
three.
Chiefs, Giants. I agree about those ones, especially
I
the
give it the
Giants coming off the
Bucks
bye.
coming into or no, I give it to the Packers going
Yeah,
into
at home
at home.
against Southern team.
I think I'm gonna
Um,
pick Panthers there.
I like the Panthers in that spot, and then I like the Vikings to
I
complete
do
the
too.
split.
Let's see what we
They're
got
the
them at.
Packers land at 8-9, identical to the Chicago Bears. And I
I
think
like
that's
that.
about where I expect them to land too.
I think it'll end up the Bears losing a couple more and the Packers being around here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, Packers will be an interesting team this year, to be quite honest with you. I think there's a lot of
Man, Raiders are in for a
unknown.
rough one.
Raiders. There's a lot of unknown. We haven't picked any division games for the Raiders yet, though, and they've kind of got a hot streak going against Denver. So we'll talk
They
about
have a
that when we get to the
very
AFC
hot streak.
West,
Everyone has a hot streak against Denver in the AFC West.
except the
How many years has
Chargers.
it been since the Chiefs
Oh,
lost?
true. 2014, I believe. 2015, maybe.
Jeez,
It's been a long time.
2014.
It's been a long
Holy
time.
cow.
But
That's
not the
pathetic.
Chargers. The Chargers are currently on a 1-game losing streak against Denver because of Week 18 last
Thanks
year.
a lot. We could have Will Anderson.
Could have, but you don't. But yeah, eight
Do
and
we
nine
take
Packers.
Richardson at 3? I don't think so.
Nah,
Taking
yeah, the
Anderson.
Seahawks would have taken Anderson.
But do the Texans take Anderson at 2?
I guess it ultimately depends on if they wanted their quarterback or not. I think they saw an avenue to get both, which they liked.
They did it, and that was a smart move.
Yeah. Moving
All
on
right,
here
let's
to
move
the Detroit
Motor-
Lions.
You know the nickname for the Lions?
What's that?
Do you know it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Motor City Kitties.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shout out Daniel Lisenby if he's watching
No.
this.
Oh yeah, shout out him. Shout out.
I was gonna say no. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought you meant who told it to me. No, it's that my dad always talks about. Shout out Papa J.
There you go. More importantly, shout out Papa J. There we go.
Cam Sutton's a good ad, man. That's a
They had
good
a good free agency period.
Manuel Mosley, Chauncey Gardner Johnson. Man,
No, I guess his injury wasn't that serious. He's good. Getting David Montgomery from the Bears to kind of fill that Jamal Williams role. They did lose DeAndre Swift, but drafted Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
it's basically they swapped out DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams.
Marvin Jones and Anzalone are just re-signings, I believe.
No, Marvin Jones, they brought back from Jacksonville. Anzalone, I think you might be right.
I always confuse Alex Anzalone and Alex Van Ginkel.
Van Ginkel's been in Miami his whole career, I believe. Anzalone's
and then former Seahawk great Jermaine Ifedi.
Jermaine Ifedi, of course. You know, those Texas A&M tackles here are so good. Between there's a streak of 4 straight years where Texas A&M tackles won the first round, but it was like Luke Jokel, Jake Matthews. That one did work out.
It took a while for that one to work out.
It did, but it's worked out. Cedric Abui. Sorry,
I feel the same about that as Jermaine Ifedi. Jermaine Ifedi's a guard too. He should be a guard. He's a guard.
He'll be a
idiot, absolute idiot.
He'll be a backup in Detroit. They have a great O-line, so he's definitely a backup.
Oh, you know who they don't have? Speaking of O-line, they don't have Evan Brown as the L.
Oh, that's true. Huh. I guess they ran out of oh, never mind. It's spaces here. Yeah, they lost Evan Brown. Who's a backup for them anyway, so
he played some center.
When Ragnar was hurt.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't happen again for the Lions' sake. Losses. Deshaun Elliott was a good player going to Miami, but again, they got Chauncey Gardner Johnson. So even their losses kind of cancel each other out. So it's like they're looking solid. They made some really good additions in the secondary between Sutton, Chauncey Gardner Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, and getting Brian Branch in the draft.
Yeah. Weird draft. People goofed him a lot.
I think it got better. It
I
got
think
better. I like their round 2 picks. And I like Jameer Gibbs, just down at
I do
12.
too. At least it wasn't at 6.
They really didn't do anything on day 3. Yeah. Yeah,
I
not a great
I
draft to
don't
be
think you should have.
honest.
I don't think I want to have drafted Hendon Hooker. He's 25 coming out from the ACL.
Not a great draft here, to be quite honest with you. But
Jack Campbell's an off-ball linebacker.
yeah. I mean, see, the thing is, I like Jack Campbell for what
Not
he
at
is.
18.
Not
In
at
the second
18.
round.
I really like Jameer Gibbs, but 12 is just really rich for a running back. I think
Especially
getting Brian Branch at 45 is
well,
like,
like you've
okay,
seen like the
that's
switch
value.
these picks and it looks better. So like you put Branch at 12, Gibbs at 18, Laporta at 34, and Campbell at 45. And that looks a bit nicer. It's the old DK Metcalf, Jack Campbell,
Yeah.
or DK Metcalf,
LJ Collier.
LJ Collier. Speaking of
yeah.
LJ Collier, he's been talking shit about the Seahawks lately.
How's he been? Well, you
He's
know,
one of
when's
the
the first
worst players I've ever seen in the NFL.
When's the
He's
first
playing for the
Arizona
Cardinals.
Seattle game? When's first Arizona Seattle game? Week 7. Well, there you go. That'll be
He's
the
one of
LJ
the
Collier Bowl.
worst players I have ever seen in football in the NFL. He was
There you go.
how that that was ultimate reach. That was just an awful choice. They really should have gone BPA, even though they had a huge D line.
I can imagine talking crap about
it's when they got fooled out of they thought they'd get Branch. They thought they'd get, like we talked about earlier, Rashawn Gary, which they shouldn't have. That was a
Montez Sweat too, probably.
They didn't like Montez Sweat. That's what I heard.
They didn't like Montez Sweat, but they liked LJ Collier.
Injuries for Montez Sweat.
Because Montez Sweat's really good.
Off of, whoops. And they missed out on Derwin James by like 1 pick, I think.
That's true. I do remember that trade. I remember that draft.
They won't FT, but if that happened, guess who we don't trade for? Jamal. Or if we take Buddha instead of Malik. But hey, I'll defend the Malik pick forever because man, that guy was special. I haven't seen a guy play like him since.
And you haven't seen him play since either.
Oh, yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Oh, really?
Played for the Browns.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Is he still there?
Right. I doubt it.
Let's see. Okay, I just need to do one more. Malik McDowell. So he's still on the Cleveland Browns. He is an American football defensive tackle for the Duke City Gladiators of the Indoor Football League.
Oh.
So no, he is no longer on the Cleveland Browns. Dang. 2nd round pick to Duke City, man.
Never, ever.
Hey, shout out Duke City. I don't know where that is, but
ever get on a ATV 4-wheeler. They already have traps. I bet they have pretty good mayo at Duke City.
Dude, I bet dude, he might Indoor Football League, he might be the MVP of that league, honestly, if he lives up to his potential there. Shout out Duke City. But anyways, getting to the Lions, who do not play in Duke City, they play in the Motor City. How about that for a segue?
Nice.
They go to Kansas City to open up the 2023 NFL season on a Thursday night. I have them winning 45-3. No, I'm just kidding. I wish that'd be cool.
It's pennant raising, it's banner dropping. Yeah, they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, I agree. That's tough. They do have a streak of very winnable games coming up, though.
Oh wow, they're gonna win a lot in a row.
Yeah, they got Atlanta at home, win. Beat Green Bay. Come off a mini bye and get Carolina, win. Go to Florida. I might call this one a loss. Honestly.
I like that.
Go to Florida in October. The Bucks come off a bye. I think that's a trap game for Detroit. He's probably already looking forward to Baltimore. Think they beat the Raiders going into their bye. Poor Raiders, man.
This better be prime time against the Chargers. That's gonna be.
It is not, man. Lions Bears can't be in prime time. Be a
fun game.
Yeah. Oh man, that is gonna be a good
Lions
one.
Off bye. I think their secondary matches up pretty well.
It does. It really does. And I Man, that's a tough one because it's funny because it's like a couple teams where it's like you just don't see a ton of weakness
I
on
need to
either
watch that
side.
game. I need to watch that
That
game.
that's gonna be a game where I'm really glad that I have NFL Sunday Ticket with YouTube TV.
You
Um,
bought it? How
no,
much excitement
we
you
already
got?
had YouTube TV. We already had YouTube TV, so it was just like get Sunday Ticket anyways. We got YouTube TV just so we would have Sunday Ticket later. So, um,
Gotcha.
but
That's
anyways,
smart.
until they sponsor us, I'm not going to mention them anymore.
Promo code WCD30.
There you go.
Flip a coin.
Honestly, man, this one's tough. I think I'm gonna go Lions just because they're coming off.
I like that secondary. I like that secondary. I like Aiden Hutchinson getting home.
Lions off the bye. I think
The
so. And then
bye.
I
The bye is
think,
probably the same thing.
yeah, I
Trap
think they have a
game. Give me the
letdown.
Saints.
They have a letdown game against the Saints, and then they lose again
Woo!
against the Bears. And
Beat the
I still
Broncos.
am not high on the Saints, but that's a letdown
Woo!
game. Beat the Broncos on a Saturday.
Who dat?
Who? I will not say who dat because they stole it.
I thought they had it first.
So it's controversial, but if you go back to like the origins, who day technically comes first.
I always thought who dat was first.
So it was
Save this for NFC South. Save this for NFC South.
Okay. I'll explain my Saints hate on the. I'm actually not a Saints hater. I actually like the Saints, but not this year, not as a team. But I don't like their prospects, but I like their organization. How about that? Except Dennis Allen. But anyway, so
And
they got
and everyone who was involved in Bounty Gate.
Oh yeah, true. But they're long gone at this point.
That OC's still there. Mickey Loomis is still there.
Oh, true. You're right.
Team president.
We'll talk about them on the NFC South episode.
All right. Did they beat?
Man,
did they lose?
what a stretch! What a gauntlet here at the end of the year.
All right. Home split for Vikings. Lose to the Cowboys.
I agree. So we'll just we'll go with that. Finish it 11-6.
Yep. That sounds right.
That's
that might win the division.
Probably will. I mean, we'll talk about the Vikings here shortly, but
that's a division championship game.
Let's come back to that one after we do the rest of the
Vikings
schedule.
Unmark it.
Let's see how that one lands.
Okay, I like it.
But yeah, the Lions
taking a step forward. They're a fun team. They're a really fun team.
That offense is just so dynamic, honestly.
Ben Johnson's getting a job.
Imagine saying like this time a year and a half ago that the Detroit Lions offense is just so dynamic, led by Jared Goff. He honestly, credit to him for turning his career around in Detroit, which not a lot of guys can say that.
His life's been made easier though,
Yeah, that's for sure. A little bit less pressure in Detroit than there is in LA.
Zero pressure.
Yeah, literally.
If you are average quarterback in Detroit with how horrible quarterbacks they've had their entire existence, you will be their all-time legend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Here we go.
Some of those don't look like losses. Some of those look like re-signings.
Yeah. Alexander Madison, that was a re-signing.
Byron Murphy is a coup. Absolute coup of a signing. I think people
honestly,
really
if you're just swapping Byron Murphy for Patrick Peterson,
insane.
Like that's a good for sure.
Eric Kendricks was old. Irv Smith's a bit of a loss, but they got Hawkinson.
I like Davenport there too, especially because they lost Zadarius Smith's not on this list. Should note he's not there. Neither is Dalvin Cook. Yeah, Dalvin Cook's not there anymore either. We'll see what Madison.
They got
can
Byron
do
Murphy
in the lead
for
back
like
role.
$10 million a year too. Yeah, it really wasn't that much. He's such a dynamic player. People just don't know about him because he's from because he played in Arizona. Now let's look at that draft. I was not the highest on Jordan Anderson.
They did not have a lot of picks, period, honestly.
Jacqueline Roy is a solid run stuffer. Jaron Hall looked awful. And Dwayne McBride's a really good player.
Yeah, I liked him. Dwayne McBride in the 7th is awesome value. He's probably going to get a
really
lot of carries.
good 7th round value this year at running back because Kenny McIntosh was a 7th rounder too.
The Vikings quietly, I mean, I know they lost Dalvin Cook, but they quietly have a very solid stable of running backs, like between Madison being the lead back, but then they have Ty Chandler. They still got Dwayne McBride.
That's what you need for that. Just, you can run that offense by committee.
For sure. And they got CJ Ham too, who's a fullback, but he takes carries every now.
He's got a big neck.
He does. He really does. Yeah, weird. Kind of. I think Jordan Addison's going to step in and be wide receiver 2 for him. Him and TJ Osborne, who I like TJ Osborne actually is a slot
and
receiver.
He'll get lots of opportunities because all the eyes are going to Jay Jett.
Oh yeah, we should. Yeah, Justin Jefferson is.
Imagine if Justin Jefferson were on the Eagles.
Jeez, man. I thought you were going to say imagine if he was on the Bengals. Just
Eagles could have had him.
No, the Eagles had him, and then they passed on him for Jalen Reagor, who is also now a Minnesota Viking. That's honestly, we could look. That's probably one of the greatest draft misses.
And the year before, and here's another one.
Oh, they drafted Arcega-Whiteside over
DK, and maybe AJ Brown as well. I don't think so.
No, AJ Brown was gone at that point,
and Terry McLaurin.
That's right. That was a great receiver draft. 2019 wasn't a great class for much, but it was a great receiver class.
Insane receiver class.
It was also a great edge class too, if you look, and a great interior D-line class. That was the same class that had Bosa, Nick Bosa specifically, Josh Allen, Brian Burns, Montez Sweat, Max Crosby in the 4th round. That's an insane edge class. And they drafted LJ Collier. It's okay. The Raiders drafted Cleveland Ferrell over all those guys.
That is true. Yeah, they deserve Max Crosby for that.
And then the interior D-line class, Cleveland Ferrell.
Yeah.
No, I think he's a backup in San Francisco now.
Oh, he's gonna be amazing then. They made Kerry Hyder into a good defensive end.
It's true. The interior D-line class was, I believe, Quinnen Williams, Ed Oliver, Christian Wilkins, Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, shoot, that might be 4 of the top defensive linemen in the whole league, and that were in the first 20 picks of that draft. Just insane. I'm probably forgetting a couple others too.
Yeah, that was a really good class.
It's a rough quarterback class, though.
Oh yeah,
very rough quarterback class, and I feel like a lot of classes are evaluated based on how the quarterbacks ended up doing, just because it's kind of like the headliners.
What's like, the 2011 was great.
Yeah, that's true. 2011's remembers great.
All there was quarterbacks. All it was Cam.
Hey, no Andy Dalton slander will be.
What about no Montlick Jake slander?
There you go. You are right though. Minnesota playing week 1. They are probably going to lose by 30 to the Eagles because they always do. Mini bye against the Chart. This is a game against 2 teams that are known.
So fun.
That's a fun one, but it's also going to be a very weird one.
10 a.m. off mini bye. Give that to the Vikings.
I agree. Going to Carolina. Winning loss to the Chiefs. Okay. We gotta find some losses for the Chiefs, man. 10-0.
Are they undefeated still, man?
Right now they are. Let's see.
Maybe.
They do. We haven't projected
one. If they didn't play the Lions week 1, if they didn't,
yeah, we'll talk about them more on the episode.
Lions have the blueprint of keep away.
We'll talk about the Chiefs more when we get to them, but I do see I do see some losses here. Not a lot, but I see some. But we'll talk about them when we get to them.
I might change that Dolphins one because that's Tyreek revenge game.
Yeah, it's true. We'll talk about them when we get to them.
Let's go back to the Vikings.
Where are the Vikings? There they are. 6-6 right now. They're in Minnesota. Let's see. Going to the Falcons in November.
I think that's a win.
Probably. These teams are just weird, man. Falcons. Whenever the Falcons are involved, the weird things happen. Whenever the Vikings are involved, weird things happen.
Fly over the stadium.
Yeah. Look at that Saints Vikings. A little bit of
give that to Vikings. Minnesota Miracle.
Yep. Here we go.
Dome team going to Denver in November. I might give that to Denver.
How is this a Sunday night game? Like, honestly.
Flex it, please.
That's one that'll probably get flexed. Here we go. Vikings and Raiders both coming off a bye. You know what? I'm gonna give this one to the Raiders.
All right. I like it.
I think, this is one where it's like kind of a weird end of season things happen. West Coast or East Coast going to West Coast. It'll just be a weird
Let's
game, I
check this
think.
schedule. Let's check this record.
Oh yeah, and then
Check
they
the record.
lose the Bengals, beat the Lions, beat the Packers, and they are at 8-8. The Lions are 10-6, so they don't even have a chance.
Give it to the Lions. They want seeding.
They're on seeding. There you go.
Wow.
3, 8, and 9 teams in the NFC North, and then an
Wow.
11-6 Detroit
Okay.
Lions.
I think I think Vikings might win a bit more.
Yeah,
Maybe Bears
probably.
gonna lose a little bit more. Packers seem right at 8 and 9, but
Yeah,
that is
I agree.
surprising. Wow.
That's wild. I mean, yeah, you could say like, we had them splitting the Bears. We can give them the sweep. We had them
I
getting
think
swept by, yeah,
Vikings
losing.
Raiders might be one I'd like to change maybe later, but I both teams off by going to the black hole. I get that.
Tough stretch here, man. And I actually thought we were being pretty. I'd say like maybe the Denver one
They
is
got a
another
tough
one.
schedule because they got AFC West
Yeah,
and
AFC West and
I think the
NFC
South
South.
though.
Yeah, not the South.
But they
The
got the
South.
Eagles, they got the Niners. That's
Yeah,
tough.
yeah. Playing a first
Those
place
are two
schedule is
teams that are
always going to be tough.
clearly better than them.
And the Chiefs, or no, they are playing the AFC. Who's the NFC team or the AFC conference? Denver? No, it's gonna be Denver. No, they're in the AFC West. Oh, the North. So they got the Bengals too. So yeah, they got the Bengals, Eagles, and Niners as their first place schedule. That's a tough go because that's 3 of the top. And they get the
yeah.
Chiefs here in week 5. They literally played the last year's entire Final Four. So that's tough. How many of them are at home versus the road? They get Viking. Let's see, Eagles on the road, Chiefs at home, Niners at home, Bengals on the road. So okay, split there. But yeah, Vikings just kind of suffering from that first place schedule. I think if they were playing the second place schedule that the Lions got, like who do the Lions get instead? They get the Ravens, who that one might be generous giving that one to the Lions. Got the Ravens. They got the not Falcons. Seahawks. And
that one can go either way.
Who's the NFC
Seahawks
East team? Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys. So I mean, it's like Eagles, Niners, Bengals, or Seahawks, Ravens, Cowboys.
I take the latter.
I'd take the latter. And that's 3 games right there. And guess what? 3-game difference when it's all said and done. So it's just tough, man. But yeah,
NFC competitive parity, bad, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be interesting. This
again, man. I don't know. 8 and 9 might actually still get the Vikings in the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Yeah, with how much we've been hating on the NFC East, I could see it happening.
Or the NFC South, I mean.
Both.
NFC East. I mean,
one team's coming out of the South. I'll tell you that right now.
I agree. I think we'll probably have both the Eagles and Cowboys in the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Yeah, but the Giants, though, taking a step back. I can't see that under Dable.
We'll see, man.
I want to do one of the next. I want to do either of the NFC teams or divisions next. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call my shot. East is next. Because I think we're getting South last. So
I think, the South is the one we talk about the most, I feel like. So East, West, South. All right. East, West, South. Use. Okay, we're going to go with use. I'll remember that. East, West, South. Okay. Well, both of the North did. Congratulations to the northern part of the country for being the first one that we covered in its entirety.
Big congrats, big ups.
Let's see the between the 8 teams, the Bengals finished in first at 12-5. Let's see, Ravens Steelers and Lions both 11-6. Ravens at 9-8. We got 3 straight Vikings, Bears, Packers 8-9, and the Browns at 7-10. So if the NFL ever decided to get rid of conferences and just kind of merge the divisions together, A, wow, that West would be absolutely insane. And B, the Bengals would still.
No thanks. No, please don't. Please don't. Not
that division would be wild.
Not until Mahomes is gone. Well, actually, how about this? How about really change them, mix and match them a little geographically better? Therefore, the Chiefs, since they're Missouri, would not be in the West. Stick with the California teams, Nevada, Denver,
Still not
Arizona,
enough. It's still not enough.
Seattle,
That's 7
Niners,
though.
Rams. Fuck.
Chargers.
Oh wait, okay. Let me start over. Okay. So all of the NFC West, that's 4.
Okay.
Chargers,
Mhm.
Broncos, Raiders. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. Houston Texans.
They're not any further. Actually, they might be a little bit further west. Let's look at them. Hold on. Let's look at a map here. Actually, instead of looking at a map, I'll do something even better. Houston, Texas coordinates. Let's look at that. So they are 95.3698 degrees west. Random map, 95.3698.
Vikings.
94.5786. So yes, Houston is technically very
Yes.
slightly further west
Yes.
than Kansas City.
Go Texans.
I think Dallas is even further west though.
Dallas is never not going to be in the East though.
That's true. That's what's funny. It's called the NFC East, but it's like okay,
bullshit.
three Eastern teams, and then their biggest rival.
St. Louis Rams were in the NFC West, and we played 10 a.m. Eastern games there.
That was brutal.
It was brutal. And we would always lose when it was the Jeff Fisher game too.
Jeff Fisher, what a guy, man! Congrats, big ups to Jeff. Big ups to Jeff.
Shout out to the Detroit or the Michigan Panthers.
The Michigan Panthers. They're not even the Detroit Panthers. The Michigan.
The worst
Panthers.
team in the USFL.
That's tough, man. Imagine going from a former, you led your team to the Super Bowl in the '90s, and now you're coaching the worst team in the USFL. He couldn't adapt,
and he was kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Yep. He was in St. Louis for a long time though. How long? He was there from like 2012 to halfway through 2016, and they just never canned him. Took 1 year in LA, and they finally got
tired of 7-9 bullshit.
Yeah, it took 1 year in LA, and they were done with it. St. Louis, you can get away with 7-9, not in LA. But
yeah, no, the year of the Hard Knocks, I'm tired of that 7-9 bullshit they went for.
Yeah, they were the worst team. Or no, they weren't quite the worst team in the league. They were really bad that year, though.
What pick did they get from that, though? Who did they get? No, they traded it.
They got the 5th pick, but they had it traded for Jared Goff, which, it's turned out to be a pretty good player, honestly.
Richard Sherman sending Jared Goff's soul to another dimension that Thursday night game, and it was called back anyways because of a holding call. That was a funny game. That was John Fossil's first interim head coach game.
On Fossils,
Johnny Hecker, dirty player, bad guy. Not a fan of his.
Honestly, couldn't tell you
Cliff Averill. That was the Rams punter for a long time. He blindsided Cliff Averill. So the next punt, Cliff Averill and Michael Bennett ran right up to him after he punted it, and he literally cowered in fear. It was pretty cool.
You know what? I feel like I have seen that clip. I've seen the clip of him cowering for sure.
But the worst thing is he blindsides Cliff Averill way after, and he gets a 15-yard penalty on him for that. So they actually saw it too. It's like, what the hell are you thinking, man? Just trying to choke them around.
Yep. Oh, you're muted. Hello.
Did I say anything after heard him? You hear all that?
I don't know. You've been muted for like 10 seconds.
I said, I said that Hecker got a penalty assessed on him.
I did hear that. Okay. Yeah. So you basically, after that, you said, "What the hell are you thinking?" And then after that, you couldn't hear anything else.
Oh yeah, I said, "What the hell are you thinking?" Trying to joke around, but he could have hurt. He could have you can hurt someone doing that,
No, you can't.
Be careful.
Really can. Yep, for sure. Speaking of be careful, and make sure you tune in to the next edition, which will be Monday night. Monday night.
I'm gonna be in the air.
Oh shoot! Tuesday night, Sunday or Tuesday? What would be better, Sunday or Tuesday?
I think
Are
Sunday.
We going hiatus?
We can do a double episode.
We can do a double episode. That might be fun
on Sunday and making it. But check out the @West Coast Draft on Twitter on X.
Yes, on X. Yeah,
there's some man on the street action in Big Ten Nation.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's do a double episode. We'll pack it
out 2 divisions. You know what? We might fuck around and do 3.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe
We need to
we'll
see,
see.
we need to save some content.
Yeah, we the thing is, we still got quite a ways to wait till was it tonight? I think this Sunday is
3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks to week 1
because we got
Yeah.
2 till college.
Yep.
But
So 3 weeks
1
from Sunday.
until Navy beats Notre Dame.
They playing tomorrow?
1
Or
week.
no, 1 week. Never mind. I thought you meant 1 day. I was like, what? Wait, they're playing tomorrow?
Oh,
I
yeah.
gotta tune
Jeez.
in. No, yeah, 1 week. 1 week from tomorrow. Awesome. Well, hey, that's been it for the 5th episode of the West Coast Stroud podcast. Any final words, Robbie?
Check us out wherever you get your podcast. We might be there, probably not.
Maybe someday. I think that there are ways to do it, so we'll
figure it out.
One of these days, we'll get the IT team. We'll get the producers on it. We'll be good.
Oh yeah. Thanks for watching, guys
Yes, sir.
and gals.
And gals, especially.
Whoa, look at that. Lions